Hey everybody, welcome back to Real Estate Drawn Bad. I'm Patrick Manchester, owner of Manchester Properties. Today what I want to talk about is, if you've read my ebook, chapter 6, the pricing chapter, I think that's what's throwing everybody off and everybody's a little bit confused about why I would want to list houses under market to get over market value or more than we're listing for. So that's what I want to cover here today. Bear with me, I don't know how to draw this speedily enough, but I want to try to make it work, and these are probably going to be terrible. But what I want to talk about first is the way most people, I feel like this is going to be a common theme, this house right here with a little garage door. But this is how most people price houses. You know, they work with their agent and they decide, oh, it's probably a 4 money sign value house, right? And what a lot of people do is they list it for 4.5 money signs and they want to negotiate down. You know, this is where a lot of people start, and it's so dumb. You know, in 1984, you know, before the internet, when realtors had all the pricing information, you could kind of get away with this, and this was the best strategy, was to list super high and negotiate down. You know, but in 2018, everybody has Realtor.com, Trulia, the dumb website that starts with a Z. You know, for the most part, buyers know what houses should be worth and what they're willing to pay for your house. So we're not going to fool anybody into paying more than the house is worth. You know, buyers know. So what happens though, when you start like this, when you start higher than the house is worth and you try to negotiate down, you know, showings kind of trickle in. You know, you get these people looking at it with a, look at that eye, it's all scrupulous. He's judging, he's looking at it like, do I really want to pay 4.5 monies for this house? And he gets all frowny faced. And you get like 1 or 2 showings a week and people kind of trickle through and it's slow. And as a seller, you just have no leverage in that situation. You know, if say this guy does decide to write an offer, oh, it's a terrible, oh God, these are so bad. But say he does write an offer, you have no leverage. You know, this guy can back out at any time because there's no fear of loss. That's the thing that we want to create when we're pricing and listing our house, is leverage via fear of loss. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So say your house is worth, oh, I was calling it 4 monies, but I only drew 3. So in this scenario, your house is worth 3 monies and you're listing at 3.5 monies, you know, pricing high, negotiating down. You know, what I'm talking about is when you've got a house that's clearly and obviously worth 3 money signs, list it at 2.5. You know, list it slightly low, let's get crazy, 2 3/4 of a money sign. You know, just enough below market to where this happens. You get a bunch of people and they're looking at, you know, Realtor.com, and they kind of see similar houses in the area and they're all priced kind of in the same area, but then they see yours, which is slightly below. Here's what happens. All sorts of people show up. They want to see, why is this house priced so low? Is there something wrong with it? Is this just a slamming deal? You know, what's going on here? So you get all these people looking at the house, right? And they're fighting over it. And sometimes you get overlapping showings, right? You know, these people are there at the same time and they're looking at each other like, are you gonna write an offer? Are you gonna write an offer? And what happens is you create this fear of loss. You know, people want what other people want. And when they're there at the same time, and when, as a listing agent, I can tell a buyer's agent, yeah, we've got 30 showings today and we've got, you know, 2 other offers, that creates this kind of bidding war and this fight for the house. And what that does is it puts you in the driver's seat. That gives you leverage, you know, when it comes time to negotiate. And not even just the purchase price, but inspections and other things down the road, to where buyers don't want to back out because they have all these other people fighting over the house. They know that if they back out, you know, they've got 10 other people that want to buy the house. Whereas if you have it priced too high, that guy knows there's no other activity on it, and he knows he can do whatever he wants. He can ask for the world during inspections. He can take his time. He can kind of dilly-dally, and you're just hoping and praying that he buys the house because nobody else has even looked at it. Whereas when you've priced it right and even slightly lower, you've got all these people fighting for the house, you know, trying to get in there and you know, beat everybody else. So that's why we want to price aggressively. That's why we want to price it a little bit lower, because everybody knows what your house is worth anymore. You know, there's no tomfoolery. There's no pulling the wool over someone's eyes and getting them to pay, you know, $30,000, $40,000 over what it's worth. It just doesn't happen anymore. You know, the value of your house is largely out of your control. It's going to be based on comps from the last 6 months. You know, maybe even a little bit further if you're in like a rural area. But for the most part, the value of your home outside of the condition of it is kind of out of your control. So what you want to do is you want to work with your realtor, come up with a good number that you think the house is worth, and just bring it slightly below with your listing price and get this situation. Get bunches of people fighting over it, get as much activity as you can, because that's going to put you in the driver's seat. So that's why, you know, I wrote chapter 6 in the book the way I did, and I've actually used that tactic a lot over the last 10 years of selling houses, and it works great. You know, it works darn near every time as long as you've nailed the pricing on it. So if you haven't read the ebook, I'll put the link in the description below so you can click on that and get your hands on it. There's a lot of powerful techniques in there for selling a house. If you already have it, let me know if you have any questions. So thanks so much for watching. This was another episode of Real Estate Drawn Bad, and I think I'm living up to the title. Thanks so much.